And with Arab governments feeling insecure about the absence of an Arab or even a Muslim power with which they could deal comfortably, especially given the fact that most of them were uncomfortable with the rise of Iran, which benefited dramatically from the Iraq War, in the sense of its power being enhanced by the absence of a balancing Iraqi power, which is going to be with us for some time to come. So Turkey, by default, in a way, filled in that vacuum. And when that new role clearly has been enhanced by the fact that Turkey began taking positions that are closer to the opinion of Arabs in the Middle East. And I would say that there has been a hunger in the Arab world for legitimate and credible leadership that whose position responded to the broad public opinions across the Arab region. I'm not talking about Muslims globally, I'm just really focused on the Middle East specifically. And by default, when that is the case, when Turkey is getting closer to its own public opinion, closer to Arab public opinion at a time when you have conflict between Israel and the Arab states, you're going to have inevitably tension arise between Israel and Turkey. I see that as unavoidable, with or without these incidents are really kind of, as I said, symptoms. They could have been handled better and so forth, but they really aren't the primary reasons for it. In fact, I would argue that it's no coincidence that the president of the Palestinian Authority, who's on his way to meet with President Obama in the White House, stops in Turkey on the way now, or the president of Syria, just visited Turkey. It is because Turkey right now is very popular in the Middle East, and Prime Minister Erdogan, I would not be surprised if in my current public opinion poll, I'm actually doing my annual public opinion poll this month, and normally I ask a question in that poll, name the leader in the world that you admire most outside your own country. And historically I had, during the 2003 Iraq War, it was Jacques Chirac because he opposed the war. In the 2006 Lebanon War was Hassan Nasrallah, who was seen to be performing well. Last year, right after the Gaza War, it was Hugo Chavez for cutting off diplomatic relations with Israel over the Gaza War. And this year, I would not be surprised if the Prime Minister of Turkey is not the most popular leader in the Arab world. In fact, in August of last year, I did a short public opinion poll among Palestinian citizens of Israel specifically, and he was already number one in terms of popularity among Palestinian citizens of Israel in August. So I wouldn't be surprised if this year his numbers will increase dramatically. But those numbers come at a cost. And the cost is that not only in terms of possible tension with the U.S. and certainly with Israel, but also in terms of discomfort among many Arab leaders who are, in essence, as I said in a piece I just did for Brookings a couple of days ago, that the Gaza Flotilla episode in some ways served to sort of shame Arab leaders for inaction, because that's the way the public sees it. And so they see Turkey as filling in that, and so they're kind of rushing to figure out a way either to sort of run on the coattails of Turkey or to outdo it in some other way. And Arab leaders, while the public is happy and applauding, leaders are not. Leaders are uncomfortable. And Turkey obviously could find itself, oddly enough, in a situation of friction with some Arab states and leaders as those interests begin to clash. So this is an area that is worth thinking about as we move forward. I believe that Turkey has an extremely important role to play for the United States. I think Turkish-U.S. relations are important and actually could be in employed by both sides for the mutual benefit and to the benefit of the Middle East peace. And here's why I say that. Precisely because whatever peace deal has to be made, both in terms of Arab-Israeli peace directly or in terms of improving American ties with Muslim communities around the world, somebody is going to have to speak for the masses to deliver credible agreement. Someone has to be seen to be legitimate. And for the first time, really in some ways, in almost a decade of measuring public opinion poll in the Arab Middle East at least, we find that the legitimacy is of a leader who does have a close relationship with the West to this day, as opposed to Hassan Nasrallah or Ahmadinejad or Hugo Chavez, who have no chance of being bridges with the West and the U.S. So I would say that given how much hunger for legitimacy and credibility, I think it is very important for the United States to work to harvest this legitimacy that has been accrued for mutual benefits. And I would also say that also means that for Turkey, in order to play that role, it simply cannot sever that credibility, which is in part based on that closeness to the West. So it's a delicate balance, but that balance must be struck for us to move forward constructively. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Telhami. Our next speaker and the last speaker is Yilmaz. Yilmaz is the director of the SETA Foundation, Washington D.C. Foundation. He is widely published on Turkey's new foreign policy orientations, U.S. foreign policy, Turkish politics, emerging security, Turkish-American relations, and he's a frequent commentator for the Turkish media on these topics. He served as the instructor for various universities, courses on Sabbagh critical theory, as well as Turkish politics in the U.S. and Canada. Mr. Yilmaz has covered Washington, D.C. for Channel 24 and CNN First, and a nationwide daily Turkish newspaper, Star, and collected under a big college. Mr. Yilmaz received his BS in sociology from the Middle East Technical University in Ankara and completed his MFA in graphic design from the State University. He is currently pursuing a doctoral degree at George Mason University's Compensation.
Thank you, Ufuk. And thank you, Steve, and thank you, Professor Telhami, for coming. So welcome again. I will try to keep my comments short as well, and I will focus on what is the meaning of the status crisis for Turkey, how it's perceived in Turkey, and how this would have some kind of effect on Turkish-American relations. First of all, everybody is following what's going on in Turkey right now, but the most important thing that needs to be understood is the Flotilla attack is no longer a Flotilla attack right now in Turkey. I mean, it's not perceived as some kind of singular or like small event, but it was perceived as some kind of attack on new Turkish foreign policy in the region. Let me just remind you very shortly, what does that mean? There are a couple of principles that Ahmet Davutoğlu laid out, the Foreign Minister of Turkey laid out, but I will not go into the details, but will tell you like just three things. And Turkey's foreign policy right now depends on free circulation of goods, ideas, and human. So those are the three things that really creates an environment for Turkey that really shapes Turkey's like national interest right now. So what do I mean by this? For example, like lifting the visas with like neighboring countries and trying to reduce the taxes and customs in the region, and also inviting all these like intellectuals in the area